An oxymoronic crescendo. A high pitch that sounds like a low pitch. A steady cadence. How I long for it. A creature of habit, stuck in a crescendo. An uphill struggle, followed by a downfall. The peak of happiness doesn't exist in a crescendo. A steady cadence, oh how I long for it. A creature of habit, still stuck in a crescendo. I'm pleading, begging that this uncertain pitch will disappear and leave me with a predictable tune. A steady cadence, how I long for it. A creature of habit, forever stuck in a crescendo. The crescendo continues, building me up slowly, just to shoot me down at the end. The bipolar nature of life is something that I loathe. A steady cadence, how I long for it. A creature of habit, accepting his fate in the crescendo. A steady tempo, oh, how I long for it. A life of boredom, most people would hate. On the contrary, it's great. There is no such thing as being late.
Love is pure. Love is never-ending. Love is awful. Yeah, that's what I said. Love is awful. It's fine for you, with your laughter and cuddles and kisses and nights alone. All is well when you wake up yawning beside her. Life is a dream for him, for those eyes are his and those hands caress yours. How I long to touch them. When I'm happy, I smile. When I'm excited, I beam. When I'm amused, I laugh. But when I'm sad, I write. I rush over to the desk and snatch the papers from the jaws to the drawers and I write. My words are complex and my rhymes are too long and my tears are too many. I want to write you a sonnet, but I can't place upon it a sentence that pains my woe. I construct you a haiku, but each time I try to, the letters carry too little meaning. And in my head I'm pleading, as I look up at the ceiling, pleading. Why don't you want me? You can't describe this. Not even through an army of howls, or marching band of soldiers smashing their drumsticks against instruments of desperation. You cannot express such a cruel bomb of pain and desire. No word from any mouth will ever get my point across. Or if I could, I'd do it all. I'd wail until my voice dropped dead, run to the sun 1,000,000,000,000 times over, but it's never good enough. Not good enough for me to ever hold your love in my bruised purple arms. Nothing I can do can change anything. No poem ever written, no song ever sung, no life ever created reflects my sorrow. Shakespeare, Byron, Keats and Donne can meet up with fun and construct a verse delicate enough to send Ellie's soul to a hearse. But it's never good enough. It's never the peak for me. I'm finished. These hands are shaking, and both eyes blur with stains of red, violet and crimson. Maybe I'm overreacting.
I adore the way you called me your boy and left me standing blue in the rain. I love holding on to this pain, seeing people walk fast like the train you fled on. It makes me so happy you called me your boy and left me standing white under the light. It is exciting being left blinded without sight, being asked about your whereabouts, thinking of what you're doing without me. I enjoy the way you called me your boy and left me broken by your ignorance. I admire your brilliance. To be so cruel to some boy he called yours. Knowing what it would do to me, I still think of the pain, all this constant pain, like stabbing my heart. I remember fondly the way you called me your boy and left me waiting for your voice, for it to wake me from this eternal happiness. Oh, how I crave the taste of blood, the craving of rivers pouring into this ocean. Because after all, you adore me, I am your boy. Please keep talking, because I really want to hear how much you do.
Gather round, ye lads and lassons, and sit here for a while. to listen to a tale of music spoke from the Emerald Isle. While the Irish are known to drink and burst right into song, not all our tunes are mild and trivial, our lyrics are loud and strong. So when you've given it all for me grog and spent all of your tin, pick up your spirits and clear the way for the rocky road to Dublin. True, we'll sing of 7 drunken nights and of the rare old Mountain Dew. Although they do reflect our culture, don't assume it's all we do. But if you're like old Dicey Riley, spending every night in the bar, then join in and sing one and all, for the whiskey's in the jar. So when you've given it all for me grog and spent all of your tin, pick up your spirits and clear the way for the rocky road to Dublin. But not all our tales are of the drink, or are so merry and high. They do tell of the struggles of Irishmen, of the fields of Athenry. They recall great Irish history, of the Molly Maguires they tell. McAlpine's Fusiliers were tough men, and their lives were truly hell. So when you've given it all for me grog, and spent all of your tin, pick up your spirits and clear the way for the rocky road to Dublin.
Tree, tall, thin and cold, he shakes in the wind, and there's nothing he can hold, because all leaves leave him for the ground. Winter has come, it is silent in the fall, wheat would never know where it is from, because they all died in the autumn. Life, too short and too confusing. It seems some people die for another man's birth, like a jail. Some prisoners are released, some prisoners in, then some prisoners out again just to make space for new one. People, the more you grow up, the more views you can see, the more things you can enjoy, and the more people you can meet. But for me, I see more, but I can't see clear. I enjoy more, but I can't feel excited. I meet more, but I'm still lonely. Remember, I'm too young and too simple, and I can watch a swimming goldfish all day. Every piece of the scars, every detail of her. I'm too excited to sleep just because I will go to the zoo tomorrow. I only have one friend who can play toy with me. Such concentration, such joy. Time brings us the future, but never take us back to past. In the future, is the future too dirty, or is the past full of beauty? Or are people too complicated to be simple? Like a boy, he lies down on the grass to see the blue sky, to enjoy the pure cloud. His skin is touched by fresh wind, and he sleeps in the peace. I'm so confused.
He could taste defeat, heavy and bitter. It rolled down his parched throat, or swallowed, until it rested in a ball in the pit of his stomach. Fatigue had set in, a sweat fell from him, and the minutes dragged on. Empty, he barely had the strength to move, but he had to keep moving, keep running, keep holding back the tide as the seconds rolled by, even if it was just for show, just to prove that he never lost hope. And he still had hope, but it was a distant dream now. It belonged to meeting rooms and training grounds. Another mistake, another screw-up, and a fatal stab to the heart. All hope of victory, now truly dead. Only his body still had to stay around for the end. He felt the grass below start to pull him down, gripping his feet each time they touched the ground. Only one thing kept him going. Only one thing kept his body upright. It was the wall of sound that surrounded him on all sides. It roared out from every stand into the sky as thousands,
Tens of thousands of ugly instruments sang an old, familiar song. Each ragged, untrained voice got lost in the ocean of music which washed over him. Even the words didn't matter. It sang of defeat, but wasn't defeated. It was defiant, joyful even. It raised up as the players' faces fell.
This is our 100-hour Coursework 2 presentation. The students in our group were Jordan Woods, Tom Ramsey-Smith, James Warwick, which is myself, Michael Jones, Roe Mars, Liam O'Connor. For this project, we decided to base our presentation on performance poetry. We decided to do performance poetry rather than a MOOC, as it gives us more freedom to be creative, and there were many more transferable skills between this module and the poetry module than if we were to do a MOOC alone, such as gaining skills in poetry that we can learn from this module and transfer to the other module to potentially use in coursework. We set out to do this with a shared theme and goal in mind. This was with the music theme we decided to go on. We wanted something that would enable us to write different poems, but with an overarching theme in them, though some ended up not doing this theme in the end and going on to their own thing. In this presentation, we will cover aspects of performance, such as engaging the audience, using body language and tone, such as eye contact and changing the tone of your voice to keep the audience interested. We will also cover how we benefit and learn from this experience. We will cover working in a group, such as how we functioned as a group with the successes and difficulties we faced. And finally, what we learned and the transferable skills we gained from this group experience.
One of the most important parts of this project was learning to present and perform creative work. For this task we had to ask the question, what is needed to engage an audience and sustain their interest over a period of time? A good presentation or performance requires consistent eye contact and direct engagement to the audience through both verbal and non-verbal means. Everything should be spoken with clarity, good enunciation, in an academic register. And all actions and gestures should reflect a confidence with the subject matter. Even the basic body language of the speaker and posture is crucial. Additionally, varying tone of voice and the pace at which you speak can also be beneficial, because it will give the audience something to focus on that will keep them interested. Finally, a confident speaker could use the aspects of performance to reflect the meaning of what's being performed. For example, increasing the volume and gesturing to emphasize an important point, and changing pace to reflect a different style of presentation. In performance poetry, the rise and fall in a tone of voice can even be used to reflect the rise or the changing tone of a poem. Finally, dealing with nerves is important. Failing to do so can lead to a lack of eye contact and a flat tone of voice which can disengage the audience.
Over the course of the project, there were lots of different challenges that we had to face, lots of things we had to overcome. For example, nerves might have been an issue when recording our poetry. I know that this might have been a problem with a few people who might have found it embarrassing or might have been nervous when trying to record their poems. However, one of the advantages of recording our poems was that we did not have to do them in front of an audience. So some members of the group were happy with the fact that they were on their own when they were recording the poem. So that was a challenge that we had to overcome. There are also several things we learnt over the course of this project throughout all the opportunities that we've been given. A lot of us have learned how to be more confident, how to practice and develop our presentational skills through all of the different features that Jordan mentioned earlier. And these are known as transferable skills. They will help us in other areas of our life, like in a professional environment. Our presentational skills will be able to help us with interviews or presentations in a workplace. In a workplace, we might often be asked to work in groups, and so the skills that we learn working in groups here will help us with those types of situations later in life. Finally, these types of skills are also quite closely linked to our course. In our course of English and Creative Writing, there's a lot of performance poetry, there's a lot of working in groups to perform, to create a final product, a final piece of work. So all of the skills that we have learnt and developed in this project will help us towards
bettering our course and eventually our academic success.
We also have some difficulties working as a group for this project. Organizing everyone to make sure we finished all of the task before the deadlines we set was quite difficult. Everyone in the group had specific tasks they needed to do, so making sure everyone had theirs finished in time required a lot of organization. Because of this, we ended up only finished the project quite close to the deadline, making it more stressful. Additionally, because we had to give different people in the group things to do, some people had more to do than others, meaning some people were dissatisfied, so we could have improved that. It was hard getting into contact with all group members when away from group sessions.
Despite the difficulties, there were also some successful aspects of working as a group. So, for example, we actually managed to arrange a specific date where all 6 of us could meet up and perform both the poems and the presentation. Originally, we were going to do it on a different day, but bad weather kind of ruined that for us. But we were also able to adapt to that and change to a different date quite quickly. We also recorded audio in a different building, but there was a lot of background noise, and we also were able to adapt to that as well by coming here instead, where there is a reduced level of noise. There was also some successful aspects of working together as a group, since we were able to take part in this speaking activity quite quickly. Some of us were assigned specific roles, such as filming, editing, and writing the scripts as well.
During this group presentation, we learned a lot of transferable skills. Some skills included being able to construct a PowerPoint presentation for us to present it back of what we learned during our group. One important skill was being able to assign roles, and this is important in the career workplace, in which you need to adapt to different roles and sort of focus on one thing in order to make one whole team work better. Another skill that we learned was being able to follow a script. Some people improvised and some people followed a strict form in order to help them. This presentation also helped with confidence, and in a workplace in later careers, if you wish to go into teaching following this degree or go writing, you need to be confident in yourself. You need to be able to express how you feel in working in a group. You need to keep eye contact when you're talking to somebody so that they know that you are focusing on them and that they can understand you in a way that's more personal. In terms of taking it forward from a project, you can gain useful skills in terms of team working and sort of leadership qualities, which can help you create a better, more fluid presentation. It's important to note that there are smaller roles behind the camera in terms of actually filming as well as editing. One member of our team will be editing this, and that's an important skill in which they can adapt over time, and if they wish to continue this into a career, it's useful for them as they can use it as evidence in terms of progressing into a career. And finally, reflecting on working in groups. Some people enjoy working as an individual, but if we can capitalise on people's skills in presentation, in filming, in editing, they can help build a team to make a stronger and more cohesive team.